Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at some more figures from the Movie Heroes line, and this time around these figures are from the second wave of Movie Heroes figures. First one I want to give you a look at is this one, and this is of course little Anakin Skywalker. Now, despite this figure being mainly aimed at kids who love rocket firing backpacks, I absolutely love this figure. It's really good. It's definitely one of those figures that suffers from a lack of articulation. However, the overall look of the figure and the accessories included really make up for it in my opinion. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. Before we do, we're going to take a look at the packaging that this one comes in. Once again, we're back to the usual Movie Heroes packaging. So we have Darth Maul's head and the Star Wars logo at the side. We also have an image of young Anakin Skywalker there on the side of the packaging, and we have the red insert, which obviously differentiates the Movie Heroes packaging from, say, the Clone Wars packaging, which, as you can see, has a blue insert. So there you go. On the back we have a still image from the Phantom Menace, as well as a couple of images of the figure. We also have a few of the other figures available in the wave. I'll be reviewing Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi with their light-up lightsabers next, and hopefully I'll be able to track down Jar Jar at some point soon. The Darth Maul doesn't look too bad, so I may pick that up if I find it cheap enough, but I'm not in an immediate rush. So there is the packaging that Anakin comes in. And of course this figure does indeed come with a battle game card, which has a really cool image of Anakin at the top there, piloting his Podracer during the Boon to Eve pod race. On the back we have an image of Jake Lloyd portraying Anakin Skywalker in the Phantom Menace. And of course you do get the obligatory display stand, and we're back to the sandy brown colour with this figure, and the card can obviously slot inside there like so. So onto the figure itself. As I said, this is definitely a figure that is primarily aimed at kids who love their action features, but I really like this figure. This has been a topic of considerable debate over on the Boring Conversation Anyway podcast, which I co-host with flyguy.net. He absolutely hates the rocket firing features and the giant cannons and all that kind of stuff that we get with figures, but I really like them. I think in this instance it's mainly because Anakin Skywalker on his own would have been a pretty boring figure, so to include something like this just livens it up a bit, makes it a little bit exciting, and brings something a little bit new to the table. Not entirely sure what it's supposed to be, although it does look like a Podracer engine, but it does look very cool. You can see all the circuitry on there and stuff, but it does look like he's wearing a Podracer engine, especially with these flaps all the way around to the jetpack. And of course you do have a couple of controls that reach around the back of the jetpack, and Anakin can hold them at the front there and sort of fly away with them. So, pretty cool looking figure. In terms of articulation, as I said at the beginning of the review, he does suffer from a lack of it. He basically has the same articulation that we've seen on every young Anakin figure from the episode 1 line. The only difference with this guy is that he has a ball jointed neck, whereas all the rest of the body is just swivel. He has swivel shoulders, a swivel waist and swivel hips. No articulation in the elbows, wrists, knees or ankles, which is really bad, especially considering that Hasbro have been pouring a ton of articulation into smaller figures as of late. However, as I said, based on the aesthetic of the figure, I'm willing to forgive the lack of articulation, as he has a ton of cool things about him that make him look really cool. For instance, the Podracer pilot helmet that he's wearing is very nicely sculpted. We'll do the traditional zoom in on that in just a moment so you can get a better look at it. And the jetpack, as I said, is really cool. Again, not entirely sure what it's supposed to be, but it looks cool nonetheless. Of course it does feature a firing projectile, which you just flick at the bottom and it will go firing out. And you've also got to put a couple of positionable flaps on the side there, which can be positioned as you wish. As I said, I'm going to do a quick zoom in on this guy so you can see him in a little bit more detail. And as I said, the detail on that helmet is really well done. It looks fantastic. You've also got some decent weathering on the outfit as well. The flaps look really cool. I've just got a text message, so I'll get rid of it. There we go. And yeah, it just looks really, really cool. So if we remove the helmet, we will see underneath you do have a fairly accurate head sculpt of Anakin Skywalker, which isn't too bad. It does look a little bit large in proportion to the rest of the body, and it kind of reminds me of how Anakin looks in the Robot Chicken sketch when he's chatting with Padme in Watto's shop, and he sort of asks her, "Are you an angel?" And she says, "No." And then he says, "Are you a fairy?" And she's like, "No, I'm not a fairy." And then he just gets a little bit carried away and says, "Are you an elephant?" And we're all just sat there thinking, Anakin, you're a bit of a pudding, aren't you? And as I said, the Robot Chicken sketch in which Anakin appears in, he does have a slightly enlarged head, and that's what reminds me of this figure. Well, that's what this figure reminds me of, sorry. But it's a reasonable head sculpt, not too bad, and as I said, he does have a ball jointed head, so it's not too bad at all. And the helmet is a really nice fit as well. It's made of a soft rubbery plastic, so it fits nice and snugly over the head. And it is just a very, very cool looking figure. Definitely worth the money that I paid for it. I did pick this one up on sale. My local store had a few of these new Movie Heroes figures reduced, so I did manage to pick up quite a few of them. And as I said, I'll be back to review some more of them very soon. So until my next review, as always guys, keep collecting. Thanks for watching this review, and may the Force be with you.